This is an update of the update on March 13th, 2009. Just want to let you know, I went and my wife has an office, an acupuncture office in White Plains, New York, excuse me, which is approximately 30 minutes north of New York City. And an interesting thing I noticed today, and it was so interesting, in fact, I wanted to share it with you. We were driving up, and about 5 or 6 years ago, they built a huge building. It was called the Fortunoff Building. Why? Because 90% of the property there was going to be used by Fortunoff, and apparently, I believe that Fortunoff bought the real estate and worked this huge deal out where they wouldn't have to pay property taxes to the city of White Plains. And an addendum to it, there was a Cheesecake Factory, a Whole Foods, a Modern Maternity, and all the like. And they all came in because Fortunoff's, the Source, as it is called, the high-end appliance place and trinket and tchotchke place for the well-to-do would go there. So that's why these guys linked hands and took the risk to move in with Fortunoff. Well, I'm driving by the building because it's on the way to my wife's office, and there was a huge sign, closing all stores, everything must go. The Source is no longer. And what's interesting is that entire top floor, if you look at it, is basement, first floor, and then a third floor. And the first floor to the third floor, the second and third floors to the top, are taken up by Fortunoff's. And actually the Whole Foods and everything are on the bottom around the block. So basically, I believe I asked somebody on the street, when did this happen? And they said, yeah, they just put up these signs a couple of days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Fortunoff's is huge. It is. We're not talking about, Walmart here, kids. We're talking the wealthy are feeling it. So I wanted to share that with you. If I had my camera, I'm going to start carrying my camera around. But this just tells me the high-end stuff is really collapsing much faster than the lower-end stuff, which has never really happened before. Even during the Great Depression, most of the big retailers like Bloomingdale's and so forth pretty much survived very well, and in fact supported the rest of the economy because the upper middle class and wealthy class were still buying very expensive luxury items. So I wanted to give kudos to also Mr. Gerald Celente, because more fascinating, he said, hey, listen, who's going to move into this space? I think that this space, and I'm just eyeballing it, okay, is approximately 30,000 square feet. It's huge. You could probably put 100 of my stores in there, and there's no question about it. But an average store, you could probably put about 20 or 25 stores in that second and third floor alone. I mean, it's amazing what they're going to do. And on the other side of White Plains, where the Trump Towers was, a huge, excuse me, I'm so excited, I'm coughing. A huge part of the Trump Towers, across the street was a Target, which is still there, and the other one was a building that was supported by Circuit City, and that's another 10, 15,000 square feet, maybe 20,000 square feet, and that's gone. I expected that to happen because of all the stuff that was going on, but I didn't hear anything about Fortunoff's, maybe because Fortunoff's not a public company. But kids, I mean, what grew White Plains into an upper middle class, Shangri-La, and if you've ever been to White Plains, go now before it becomes the scenery for Escape from New York. It went from being a little farm town, basically, even 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, to this little metropolis with very high-end shops and everything. And IBM and the rest were there at one point, and then they moved up to Tarrytown. But that's amazing. The other interesting thing that I had heard, or I just saw on Bloomberg, which I must have skipped it, was Berkshire Hathaway was moved down from a AAA status to single A. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The Oracle of Omaha. I mean, I know he had lost 90% or 96%, but when you're the richest man in the world, I don't think the S&P or the Moody's, for this matter, in this case, would have the cojones to lower their stuff to basically just shy of junk. You went from AAA. I mean, how many AAAs are there going to be left? I think there was 70 at the beginning. There must be at least like 20 or 25 now. I'm just curious. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's just the wildest day. It's scary. Maybe it's a omen telling me that, wait 6-9 months. Oh, by the way, thank you everybody for commenting on the previous video that I just did. This will become part 2, I guess, of the East Coast Economic Update. I just want to clarify, I'm window shopping as far as real estate is concerned. Don't worry, I'm not going to make anything crazy. Not to mention a few friends of mine who I've talked to that are into Austrian economics figures based on the numbers that they've found from shadow stats and so forth, that middle to upper and retailers will probably completely collapse by the end of this year. So if I'm going to make a move, it won't be until early 2010. And don't forget something. My business makes me a living, not a lifestyle. Everybody's always bought and started businesses to increase a lifestyle. I'm just happy to be alive. All right, guys. If I don't hear from you beforehand, Shabbat Shalom and peace.